So I'm going to start with a very brief review. And the first question is, name 4 characteristics of identity. This size, it doesn't matter how big or small it is, okay? Now you all are very important people because you have business cards, okay? In a kind of role play, the things that you must think about when you are presenting yourselves to others. And you must understand that you probably only have 2 to 3 minutes, which is actually a lot of time, 2 to 3 minutes. You're going to go around the room, you're going to pull out your card and introduce yourself to one another. And you're going to ask questions. Now you all know who you are, how old your school is, when it was founded, what are important things about your school, right? As leaders, we present ourselves not only within ELA, but to the outside community as well. Most outside groups will not have the same depth of knowledge that the inside groups have. So they won't be able to ask as many questions. Instead, it's up to you to present to them something that they will not forget. A. Yes, the number of students you have. And in that, you want to stress the number of parents or families. And if possible, indicate the growth. So, we started 3 years ago with 10 families, and now we have 34. Okay? That shows growth. Yes. How are you organized? How are you politically, shall we say, organized? So I'm going to put organization, and I did use the word board. Do you have a board? You don't have to give a lot of details. Oh yes, we have a 22-member board and we meet every second Monday at 7 o'clock for 2.5 hours and we write up the minutes. I think you don't need to give that kind of detail. But the fact that there's a board, that it's perhaps elected, that it rotates membership, those are important things. Very important. What is your vision? And I'm going to link this to the next point. How does your vision relate to Canada? Okay, very, very important. Okay, remember that any time you go abroad or your students go abroad, they represent Canada. So whom do you collaborate with? Okay, we live in an age of teamwork. Who do you collaborate with? And who are your affiliations? And an important one, I think, would be ELA. Because ELA has worked very hard to make its... First of all, I think the economic point is a very, very important one. And the business one. If you can talk about that, you're going to definitely catch the ears of people. So you can grow businesses through bi- and multilingualism. Okay? Next, and of course, any point that you pick, you must have an example from your community. Okay? And the reference to YouTube or to a clip that was from the news is very important. Okay? Because that's public domain. Next, I'm going to look at youth who go abroad. Youth are the children in your communities who will eventually go abroad because we all do. And with the language, we are attracted to going abroad. And we become ambassadors, youth as ambassadors for Edmonton, for Alberta, for Canada. So we are building youth leadership, but we are also helping youth become ambassadors for us. Okay, diversity is a very important point. And I'm just going to add and remind you that the United Nations position on language is no longer multilingual, it is plurilingual. And it's an important word, and there's an important difference. Multilingual suggests that many people could become multilingual. Plurilingual acknowledges that we must learn to live side by side with many different languages, knowing that there is no way that one person can learn all of them. Okay?
When you're bilingual or you're learning other languages, let's say my son is learning Spanish, right? So he has like this whole new mindset now about the Spanish culture. So it promotes tolerance and understanding.
From the reasons that our programs are valuable to Edmonton, Alberta, and Canada, to beginning to develop a vision.
Yeah.
Okay? And that is the goal. Because you cannot, well, you can always talk to someone about who you are, but when you've got a vision and you can get them interested in the vision, then you have much more strength. And those values reflect your culture, and they reflect a long, long history of your culture. You are also teaching information about the history, the geography, and you are also helping students build relationships with one another, with other communities that speak the same language, and on Mother Tongue Day with students who speak other languages. Okay, so relate to the local media. Okay, now some ideas. You might have your own language program, and your students are going to perform, or not necessarily perform as in sing or dance. They could be interviewed. Okay, they could do a play. So broaden your minds so it's not just singing or dancing. That they go to the radio station and they're responsible for 5 or 10 minutes. What would they say? What would they do? Have a title, and usually from the title, if I read it, I can begin to imagine what it would be like. Okay? Of course, you must give me more detail. The goals would be to bring people together, to raise money, to showcase talent. The rationale is a little different. And I don't think anyone really explained the rationale. The rationale means, why should you do this project? Why should you have an ice sculpture competition? A soccer tournament? No, why that and not something else? Okay, you have to convince me that that idea is oh, what a great idea. What a great way to achieve those goals.